Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So in this video I'm going to show you how to get this look right here, and it is an inspired look from, well, the person that inspired me is Jackie Ina here on YouTube, and I will leave her picture right here. And if you are curious about Jackie, I will also leave a link to her channel down below in the description box, also to that video where I got that image from, and up here in the cards because Jackie's fabulous. I think I did an inspired look from her back during Valentine's Day. I look up to her, that's all I'll say. Anyway, for this look, and this is going to be a longer video because I do show you how I did my complexion, because I used a new product from NYX, and this is their Total Control Foundation Drops. And these are supposed to be the dupes to the Cover FX custom cover drops that I think came out earlier last year. And I used to use those when my skin was a little bit more normal, but this year my skin has been dry. It's been dry for a minute, so I'm thinking that's just how it's going to stay for the rest of my life. So the Cover FX drops don't really work too well for my skin tone or skin type now, because they're really mattifying, while this on the other hand is a little bit more toward the oily side. So if you do have oily skin, I don't think you're gonna like this, because it doesn't go on heavy. It's super light, but you can feel that it does have a slip to it. So like I said, if you have oily skin, probably not the product for you, but if you have dry skin like me, then definitely give this a go. I am in the shade Buff, which is actually not my shade. I bought this before I went on vacation, so it's like a shade lighter than I would have gotten if I was tan, but you know, whatever. I made it work with bronzer. So throughout the video I show you how other products layer on top of it, and I like how my face is looking. I've been wearing this for about an hour now, and it's still sitting. And most importantly, because you guys know I have issues with makeup stain on my nose, I did not powder my nose. I just put on the Dr. Brandt's Pores No More primer, and I didn't set it with powder, and this stuff is still sticking to it, so I'm really happy about that. So if you want to know how I got my face looking like this, and if you also want to know how I did this makeup look, then keep on watching. Okay, so I am barefaced, and I'm going to be doing my complexion a little bit differently today, because I'm going to be working with this new NYX Total Control Foundation Drops. So these are supposed to be dupes, or if they're not exactly dupes, they're supposed to be very similar to the Cover FX drops, which I did not like. I liked at first when my skin was normal, but now that my skin is dry and it looks like it might be staying that way, I need something that's not as mattifying, because those drops, when I use them, they kind of just like caked up on my face when I use them by themselves, and I kind of wanted a product where I wasn't going to always have to mix it. So I have used this already. I actually filmed a video using this, but I didn't upload it because I went back to edit it and I didn't like how it looked. So I'm filming this video so I can show you guys how these work. And these are the NYX Total Control Drops, and I am in the shade Buff. And once again, disclaimer, if you can hear traffic outside, I'm by the window like usual. Anyway, so instead of priming the usual way that I do, I'm just going to be using my Dr. Brandt's Pores No More, because this is very liquidy, and when I put the powder on up underneath it, it just didn't look right. So I find that just using this by itself actually works better. So that's what I'm going to do. Alright, so it is pretty warm here today. I think it's going to be in the 70s, so it's definitely going to be interesting to see how this performs. So I am going to be mixing it with my Cover FX illuminating drops, and I don't even remember what shade this is, and it's so I use it so much that all of the packaging has worn off, so I'm going to mix these two together. I can find my plate. So first I'm going to apply my Cover FX drops, and I'm just using this brush that I'm going to be using with the foundation. This is just a no-name brush that I picked up from AliExpress. And I'm just placing that along the perimeters of my face because my T-zone does get oily, so I don't want it to look super oily by putting these in the middle of my face. Alright, so next we're going in with the Total Control drops. And the reason I'm using this brush, as you can see, I've used it before, but it looks similar to the brush that NYX is selling with this Total Control Drops foundation, except it doesn't have the dip in here. But the NYX brush isn't very dense, because I was thinking, oh, when you're using a super liquidy foundation, you would use a dense brush, but this works. Do not use this with a beauty blender because you're not going to get any coverage on it. You're going to think this product sucks. But if you use it with a brush, and like I said, this is not a particularly dense brush, you will get the most benefits out of these. So this definitely works best with a brush. So I'm just going to shake it up. And when I apply it, you're going to see that it looks like basically tinted liquid, but you can definitely build up the coverage. Oops, got it in my brow. And that's why I'm not doing my brows first, because this stuff is really liquidy. But it is super lightweight. Like, this is a perfect summer foundation. And I don't know if it's water-based, but it feels super light. So I'm going along the perimeters of my face first, and then I will blend into the center of my face. Okay, so if this shade looks a little too light on me, it's because I bought it before I went on vacation and now I have a tan. As you can see, tan. So I'm just going to correct that with some bronzer. But this is what the foundation looks like. And I'm going to zoom you in so you can see the texture of my skin. So as you can see, it did cover my nose pores. I only have the primer, I didn't powder. And it's looking pretty good. So now I'm going to go in with concealer, and my eye is already watering. So keeping it on the drugstore side, I'm going in with my Maybelline Fit Me Concealer in the shade Sand. And I'm going to be going in with a beauty blender to blend that out. So this is a concealer on, and it layered pretty well. You do have to be careful when you're using a sponge to blend out your concealer. I probably should have used a brush, but this will lift your foundation if you press too hard. So just really be gentle if you are planning on using a beauty sponge to do your concealer over this NYX foundation. But I'm liking how it's looking. So for bronze, I'm going to go in, oh, I'm going to zoom you guys out now. Alright, so you're a little bit more zoomed out, not all up in my space. So for my bronze, I'm going in with my Maybelline Fit Me Stick in the shade Coconut. And I don't contour during the summer, at least during the daytime. If I'm going out and I want to look chiseled, then I'll be contoured. But during the day, ain't nobody got time for that. So I'm just going to be running this around the perimeters of my face, and I'm going to blend it out with a sponge. So this did take a while for me to blend out, and I'm not sure if it's because it's a stiffer cream consistency and not like a soft liquid, but I got it done, and it did not lift my foundation, which is really good. So I'm still looking pretty natural. And now I'm going to go in with my Lancome Duo Stick and contour my nose. And once again, I'm just being super gentle when I'm blending out my creams. So now I'm going to go in with my baby powder, and if you haven't seen that video where I set my face with baby powder, I will leave a link down below because that's all I use now. So that's the baby powder underneath my eyes, and for everything else I'm going to go in with this Bare Minerals Mineral Veil, Hydrating Mineral Veil in Translucent. It's a finishing powder from Bare Minerals. I think I've tried to use this before, I can't remember, but I found it in my makeup collection, so we're going to test it out today. And I'm assuming it's translucent, so hopefully it doesn't, you know, make me look super pale. Alrighty, so this is what we're looking like now. And I am going to go in with a bronzer, a powder bronzer, and I'm going to go between the Milani Soliel Baked Bronzer and the Milani Dulce Baked Bronzer. So this is my bronzer I use when I'm super fair, and this is the bronzer I use when I'm tan. So since I'm in the middle, I'm going to mix them and see if I can get the perfect tan that doesn't look like an Oompa Loompa, but also doesn't look gray. For blush, I'm going to go in with the Milani Baked Brush in Luminoso, of course. And for highlight, I'm going in with the shade King Tut from Jeffree Star. Starting on the eyes, I'm going to be going in with these two shades of brown from the Viseart palette, and I'm using these as my transition color, and I'm using a fluffy brush to do this entire look. I think I only used 2 blending brushes and my fingers to do this look. It's a very, very simple look. So I'm putting these 2 shades on my crease and upper crease, and I'm using fluffy brushes for this look because I don't want color to be too concentrated in one spot. I want it to be blended out so I have a wash of color. And now I'm applying this Stilazzi matte shadow in the shade M23, which is basically a matte yellow. And using that same blending brush that I used to apply the 2 browns from the Viseart palette, I'm putting it in my crease and blending it up. I'm also using the same brush and the same shadow to blend the yellow underneath my lower lash line. And once again, I'm using a very fluffy blending brush because I want this to be a wash of yellow and not too concentrated or too pigmented in one spot. Then I'm going to go in with those 2 original brown shades from the Viseart palette, and that's just going to help buff out that yellow under my lower lash line so it doesn't look like I have a yellow ring around my eyes. My mobile lid, I'm going in with this Jeffree Star Skin Frost in the shade King Tut, and this is the same highlighter I use to highlight my face. Then I'm going in with that original fluffy brush and blending out around the edges, just so there's not a harsh line between the highlighter and the matte shades in the face. Next, I'm using this Urban Decay Heavy Metal Glitter Liner in the shade Midnight Cowboy, and I'm applying that to the outer portion of my lower lash line, and I'm forming little triangles. So initially I was just going to leave this by itself, but then I remembered I had some NYX loose glitter in the shade Gold. So in the end of this look, I do end up putting the NYX glitter on top of this glitter liner, but by itself it looks really nice, but I did want to add a little bit more sparkles. Basically, this liner is just going to be acting as my glitter. And I'm also going to use that Midnight Cowboy glitter liner on the inner third of my mobile lid. And here's that NYX gold glitter that I'm going to be putting in all the places that I used the Urban Decay glitter liner in Midnight Cowboy. And this is just going to add a little bit more of a noticeable sparkle to the eyelid. To line my top lashes, I'm going in with the Ulta Brand Liquid Liner, and I believe this is in the shade Bronze. It's not a matte brown, it definitely has some shimmer. So I'm using that to go along my upper lash line, and then I'm going to form a little wing on the outer corner. Nothing too dramatic. To tight line my upper lash line, I'm using the Milani Stay Put eyeliner in the shade Hooked on Espresso. And then for my lower waterline, I'm using the NYX Full White Eye Pencil in the shade Honeydew. So onto this fabulous lip. So first I used the Anastasia Beverly Hills Liquid Lipstick in the shade of Midnight. And this is a matte black lipstick. And then before it dried, I went in with that NYX glitter and pressed it into my lips. And I did put a significant amount on. So first I was just using that little Urban Decay Midnight Cowboy liner, and then I was just like, you know what, I'm just going to go in with the glitter. So I'm just using my finger to press that into my lips, and then I smush my lips together, and that's how I got this really beautiful glittered black and gold lip. This is the final look. I am not wearing false lashes. I'm using my L'Oreal Voluminous Mascara Primer and my Maybelline Full Fan Effect Mascara. Okay guys, that's it for this video. I hope you liked it. If you did, give me a big thumbs up and press the subscribe button down in the description box so you don't miss any more content from me. And I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!